Something's got to give, either the pole or the ankle, right?
Ankle, hamstring.
Okay. Is that too bright for you, Bob? There's some sun coming through there. All right, ready? I don't need these. All right, ready? Bow. Salute. Okay, let me put these over here. I'll forget those, right? Okay, ready? Hands up. First exercise. Turning. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. To the side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Hands in your waist. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Cross. Knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Center. Ready, neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, center, tilt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, center, rotating, 1, 2, 3. Reverse, 1, 2, 3. Center, hands up, pull in, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Spread your feet, turn your shoulders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, we'll stretch it out a little. Switch. 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 Switch, straighten the front knee. Switch. 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 Okay, center. So shifting like this without straightening the knee, this downward posture, but when you work between here and here, it just works up in the inner thighs, so it works those muscles in there, those adductors. Okay, what's next? Shoulder rolls. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Press, release, exhale, inhale. And stop. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, wrists. Reverse. And center. Okay, palms down. Pick a circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shift from side to side. Okay, lift. And center. Okay, let's get the arms going and we'll do a leg swing. And center. Okay, switch. And center. Okay, next, side to side. Okay, switch. Okay, center. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, silk grilling. Switch. Okay, open and close. Switch. And center. Okay, circular movements. Okay, lower hoop. Shoulder height. Elbow down. Okay, palms down. Extend. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, diagonal flying. Switch. Okay, Sana. Cloud hands. Okay, palms down. Lift up, carry tiger to the mountain. Okay, infinity sign. Form the fist. Okay, palms together, strum the lute. And center. Okay, turn, draw the bow. Bend to the back. Okay, raise the hand. Okay, deep breathing. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we'll go through the sequence. Short form. Ready? Preparation. Begin. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. So how do we feel? Any questions? We still have 15 minutes worth of Tai Chi Paradigm. So is there something you want to work on? We worked on Jade Lady Work Shuttle the other day. Again? Or?
Yeah, maybe one time. Believe it or not, I don't know how, when we step out and we're switching the hands and which arm goes which direction, I get confused.
Okay. All right. So,
That might be too simple for other people, maybe we should do it.
no, actually, it may be other people might have the same problem, right? So, her question was, or actually one of her issues with the transition was when the upper body moves to strum the lute or find neutral position, what does the lower body do? Because, once we've memorized the sequence, then it's integration of body and bringing in some of the, the concepts of, upper lower coordination.
It's
So,
not the arms.
yeah. So, yeah, so it is really a relationship,
Yeah, the
right? So the relationship between, so when we're in a right stance and we're like this, then we switch. Then we switch. That's easy to do because we switch and then we just kind of merge like that. So that's finding your center line. So the quickness and the agility of doing that becomes pretty sort of one-sided, and it just kind of happens, right? The problem is when you go from here and then we step, and then we step, and then we step, and then we step. Now it comes a little bit more robotic, doesn't it? So we're in this position when we toe out, because this is the motion. Now if I toe out, then this hand starts to balance that foot that went out. You see my right hand and my left foot? But look at my left hand. I have to maintain center. So this is why it's a little bit tricky, because a lot more stuff is happening on a control level and integrating the lines between the center line and the moving right and left. So this is here. It stays. It stays. But you see my hand? So this hand is still in the center. So you have to relax your shoulder. And then when I shift my weight and this hand comes out, then this is moving down and this is moving in. See? And then it comes up. So because we're moving right and left, forward, and there's some integration of body where you're 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2 is blending together. 1, 2, and then 3. So with it, your torso, right? All this that we're doing here hasn't become part of the action because you haven't discovered the relationship and the relative position. So on a functional side, it's a lot easier to see, because if I'm here and I go like this and I go like this, you can see the movement, right? So what happens when I go like this, and I go like this, and I go like this, becomes a technique where you kind of evade and avoid, and you move in and you connect, right? So I'm going to use Eddie's arm here to give you a sample So of this, no, doesn't have to punch. I'm just going to use his arm, right? So he can stand facing this way, face this way, right? This way, right? So he's just going to hold his arm like this, make a punch position, right? That's a serious punch. But, okay, so he's going to be there, right? So I'm going to show you a simulation of the motion, right? I'm here. 1, 2, 3, right? So I'm in a neutral position, and then I shift, and this hand comes down, right? And then this comes to here. So when my hand first intercepts here, you see what happens? When I go out to this side, and the hand comes down, and if he were to punch again, it would come to this side, and then it would come to this as an action. So you see, when you go from here to here to here to here, you're building the spatial connection to that. So when I'm here, I can't just go like this. I'm moving like this, right? Here, here. If I go like this, I broke the continuity of the movement. So when you're simulating the movement, I'm moving like this. So this is the part you don't see, because there isn't. You can see it in action, but you can't see it in a tangible connection of the reality of motion. So when I'm here and I go like this, now you see the reality of motion. So when I'm here, I have to do this. Now, when I go here and I go like this, I have to bring this down. So I turn. So even though I'm going like this, I have to bring the other side in. So I'm here, then this hand comes, right? If I turn to this, I would push, or I could just exchange between the two, right? Then that's just moving in a stationary position. But if I move here, then I move here, then I have to take, right? So you're doing that in pushing hands, right? Don't we do this? But you're stationary. If I were to do this, and then this, and then this. So you move right to move left, you move left to move right. And Tai Chi principle is move right to move left to move right, right? I move left to move right, right? I move right to move left. So the exchange between what happens to the vertical line has to be tracked. So I'm here, 1, 2. The line didn't move. I'm here, and I reset to this line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, actually it has so many dimensional changes that it's hard to pick up all of it because the body doesn't know. So what's a dimensional change? Or watch, right? You watch, right? 1, 2. So my hand came to here as I did this. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. When my body moves one way, the hand goes the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when I went like this, 1, 2, right? When this hand goes down, now it goes in the direction on the lower half to go this way. With the upper half, it goes this way. So your two hands are doing not only opposite, but the same. So there's a relationship that's sometimes missed because you got the upper and lower hand, you got the right and left leg, then you have your torso. That's why it's a bit complicated to pick up on that without a bunch of practice. The reason for that is because the body doesn't know. What does the body know? It's just a bunch of muscular tissue that attached to your bones, and it really has no rhyme or reason. It doesn't know anything. It needs this to tell it what to do. Otherwise, it's just like a lump on a log, which just doesn't. we all have that. We all have this. It's just that we don't understand what to tell it to do. You know, I always use that culinary, um, way of expressing things. I give you a bunch of ingredients. What do you do with it? How do you cook it? What do you cook it with? Right? What is compatible? What is not compatible? Actually, it doesn't really matter. You just throw it all together. You throw it in a pot and just boil it. But the thing is, if you want to make a specific dish, there's a ingredient, there's a bunch of other things, and you have to put them, and sometimes you have to cook them in the right order. So this is moving in the right order. You have this ingredient. You have this. You have right. You have left. You have lower hand. You have upper hand. What the combination do you do to get it to happen? So in body movement, it's not so easy to understand, because when I go like this, I go like this, I go like this, and then I cycle, and like this, that's grasp the sparrow's tail. So if I go like this, 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 and this, that's taking, strum the lute, moving, pong, ward off, pull down, and push, if I were to use that movement, right? So you can see the structure, integrity of position really ties into why a certain movement would work. So functionality has to do with structure. Structure has to do with integrity, and integrity has to do with the relationship between what this is and what this is. So without the relationship, it just becomes, everything is separate. So stay straight. Yeah. So you know what this level is? That you're thinking through it, right? Because there's a consciousness of what's well. So if I hold this, and I move this foot out, did my body turn with it, right? So that's your waist, right? If I'm here, and I turn, you see this shoulder and this hand, they came together, right? They closed. So the relationship between this shoulder and this hand becomes that. Now look at the lower hand. I created this structure. So is this structure of any use? If my hand is here, and Arthur's hand is here, in the lower, and I'm like this, then it has a purpose. So there's no movement that's not purposeful, because that's why it's in the lower section. So when I go like this, you see my hand do that, this, and why don't I keep it here and do that? Because there's no action. Here, there, right? When I go like this, and then I turn, and then I do it on that side, you have it going on both sides. The second half, yeah. So when you're here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I didn't even bring in one other additional component. So what happens here? 1, okay, now we start from scratch, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, too. So what we did, we strung grasped the sparrow's tail together with transitions that tie upper lower coordination. Pardon me? Yeah, which you're not doing. It's a stage. You know, when we learn something that has levels, sometimes they talk about onions. You peel one layer away, there's another layer underneath. You peel one layer away, another. So this is the layers. This type of thing is actually not so easy to do in the beginning because the body doesn't know. Now when you blend it together, what does it look like? It looks like this. So it looks like the body is constantly turning in the upper body, because the faster you do it, the more it's obvious. See, right?
The same foot has to come forward, because that's what's about to happen next.
Yeah. So there's a right and left exchange. The body. See, when you deal with dimension, we talk about 3 dimensions. You have a forward, you have a backward, you have a right, and you have a left. That's the upper body. You have a right, you have a left, you have a forward, you have a backward. But then the legs, you have a right, and a left, and the feet. So what the feet do as a cross reference is, if I turn this way, right, then my body will go that way, right? So when my hand goes, so you notice they go opposite direction, because your body has to stay balanced. It's counterbalancing. So there's equal opposite reaction. Isn't that Newton's second law or something like that? Equal opposite reaction. For every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. So for every action, third law. So when you go from one side to the other, you have to have, because we miss the right and left dimensions of movement. Why? Why do we miss the right and left? Because our eyes are always looking forward, and we don't see anything that goes across. And then here's the other thing, is that we don't turn our shoulders normally. So we don't turn our shoulders. We don't see turning of shoulders, simply because your body doesn't connect with it. So what you don't do, you won't see. So it's kind of like that.
If you're trying to do this, when you should be doing this, it just feels.
Well, not necessarily, because in brush knee you do that. You see, when this is strum the lute, where the hands go like this. In brush knee, it goes this way, and then it goes this way, and then when it turns, it goes in the same direction, because you're here. This goes like this, and this is a different motion from this. So that's one way, part of stepping up. But once you're in your position, then it's a turning in the same direction. See, so here, this is this, but I didn't turn yet. So when I turn, now this is actually going in the same direction, because my hand is going to go back into that direction. So that in that posture, it's different. It's coming off your back leg as the push. So when I go like this to get to this, it's different from this, because now this becomes this. So this is actually working. Now this hand would be going in the same direction as well. And then here. So each posture has its uniqueness to how you move. But this in, I say maybe Jade Lady work shuttle. We're going to go like this, right? We're going to cross over. Okay, so we're in part the horse's mane, and we would sit back, and then we're going to turn, right? Now we didn't step until here, right? And then here. So that would be similar. Now I'm here, here's my position, I cross, right? Here, here, and here. So grass the barrow's tail and Jade Lady work shuttle would have a similar footwork, even though it goes at a corner, because it's off the front hand. Kind of a lot of information to be thinking about. It all. Yep, because it's the relationship in the body. You know, relationships in the body is just like relationships with people. You know, it's all different. Your relationship with her and her and her and her and me and Ed would be all slightly different, even though, you know, it's because we're different entities. When we're doing movements, and so the postures become separate entities. You work them and they have their unique coordination. The relationship, if it was all the same, then we're very simple to learn. But because the relationship is difficult, it makes things much more complicated. So you have to be able to deal and cope and understand what that relationship is. And when you figure that out, then that's the big challenge. That's why therapists have so much trouble figuring out why the relationships are so different, because everybody is so different. Yeah. Actually, well, it's really not that simple because society is so all over the place. But with Tai Chi, you go home and you practice by yourself, and that's it. And that's it. But it's amazing what a couple of movements can take you to like a whole new realm of thinking. That kind of keeps it interesting. But it has this plus and minus. It could be interesting on one hand, it could be discouraging on the other hand. So it does take a lot of, you know, determination, humility, and a whole bunch of stuff. So it really taxes your mental makeup. What? Yeah, so let's all do it together, right? So let's start with here, when we first get into Ashram. So that's what happens in the legs. You see, you go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now, when I do this, 1, 1, 1, 2. Right? So Strumdalud is this position. Right? 1, 2, 3. So now the second hand ties to the waist. And then we would open to here. And then we would sit and then turn like this. And then you see my wrists, what I did with my wrists. And then I shift and step up. Then I turn like this. Now if I did ward off, it would be here. Well, this would be pung, right? And then when I turn this way, and I switch to the other side, that actually blends to that movement. And then this one goes with this. So then, as you do this, the opposite side comes up. The opposite side comes up. So when the opposite comes up, so it's really that. So the hand pattern has to be consistent with the turning of the waist. Now if I go out, this is in the same direction. This is in the opposing direction. So those are the two. Those are the two units. Here, I turn in the same direction. So the upper body is right and left. Right. Now here I go left like this. Now you see where this hand is? Shift, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If I turn, right, step 1, 2, 3. So this is just switching hands without the toe out. Now if I toe out on the opposite side, same side, it goes, same side would go opposite. On this side, this is the same. So can you distinguish the two? 1, this is 2. So you see the difference? This one that goes opposite, you shift from here, leaving your center. The same side one is really like the brush knee one. So that's this hand, the inside hand. 1, 2. This is 1. Same, opposite. Okay, so if you can get that body, because that becomes a mechanical transition. It becomes that relationship. So when your body understands this, that this is the same direction, then this becomes your step up for brush, knee, and push. This becomes your setup for the ward off or the pong position. Alright, so we got that. So we're in the right foot forward. This is the same direction. Same direction meaning when my foot turns, this is going in the same direction. See my foot and this? And then it's going into the same. So if I turn like this, that foot would go in that direction. This foot would go in that direction. The opposite is when I go like this. When this goes out, and then this, you're in your center line, then this goes here. That's opposite. This is the same. When the same, it would go like this. You see my feet? Right. See my hand now. So when you go opposite, you're going to go forward. You see now I'm weighted here. In this one, I didn't go forward yet until I get to here. 1, same. That opposite, right? Opposite is this. Opposite is this. Same. The same side.
Show the same and opposite, because it seems to me that if you're using your foot, if you're forward on the right foot, then the left arm is opposite.
Yeah, so when we're here, neutral position, this is just upper body, okay? Now you watch the same side hand goes with that, right? So this hand would be the same. This would be the same. You see, so both of these would move in the same direction. This would be opposite direction. This is the same. So if this hand goes that way, my foot goes that way. This hand turns, that foot goes in the same direction. Opposite would be when this goes here, then this goes here. So, you follow me there? Did you follow me there? Arthur?
It's got a lot of detail. It's a little confusing to refine this thing to the level of, I'm missing the long form out of this whole thing here.
Yeah.
Just to, get the group flow out of the long form.
Yeah. So while we spent a little bit of time on that transition, your long form has it throughout. It has it. Actually, it's in everything. This is in everything. So we talk about the layers of onion. If you have the sequence down, this stuff has to be embedded into your body. Otherwise, you really can't evolve. It just stays the same. Because the relationship in the body isn't developed. So we go through the form, which we can do, it's that concept that becomes part of that principle. Whether it's grass or sparrow's tail, it's throughout everything that has that relationship. Even when you're here, when I go like this and I go like this to reverse the ball, there's the relationship. Same. Right? Opposite. Same. So there's always that kind of relationship built in the body. But most of us don't think about it unless you're teaching it. If you're teaching it, then you have to think about it. Okay, so all right, you want to go through long form instead? All right. backwards, divert, lock in, punch, that's retreat. Step up, grasp the sparrow's tail. Okay, good. Deep breathing. So a lot of times I ask questions because, a lot of things are not answered. So, when we talk about evolving, even in other classes, students say to me, what else is there to learn? So the only other thing that you can learn when you're doing martial arts or even Tai Chi is cultivate the form you have, which is the long form, learn other forms, then you take the principles, what you hear about. So if you don't hear it, you actually don't understand or even realize that it exists. So once you hear it, doesn't mean your physical being is going to be able to do it immediately, because you have to go through this metamorphosis. You have to go through a process of changing, whether it's habits or learning or relearning. That's part of the struggle. So when you learn other forms, what it does is it makes it a little bit more interesting, because the stuff that we were talking about in the last section was it's kind of boring and it's kind of mundane. But people that focus on those kind of details, or that when they're at that stage, and you have to be ready for it in order for you to appreciate it. But back in the day, they never told us these things. You had to discover them. Discovery takes a long, long time, but you have to discover off of something. If you don't know anything, you can't discover it, right? You have to. That's why I've been doing it for 50 years. Well, if I didn't realize that there was a discovery, I wouldn't stay with it. But there is a discovery because you do evolve. And partially because when you teach, it's a whole different sort of stratosphere. When you teach, it's very, especially like in martial arts, it's very easy to do the surface level. And, so many people back, when you open a school, it's very easy for your students to catch up with you sequentially. It's the depth of knowledge and the other stuff that's so hard to, it's sort of like getting, learning arithmetic and then getting a PhD in some, statistics or something. It's a whole different level of understanding. But if you get to a stage where you can understand depth of knowledge, then the simple stuff really becomes something you understand. So that's like in that magazine, you have to go full cycle through, and many cycles to get to the complexity of motion before it becomes simple. So, it becomes a no-brainer. That's when you actually have achieved to to that level. But that's what self-cultivation is. That's what these kind of disciplines kind of intrigue people, and that's another reason why there's so few people that do it. If it was so easy and it kind of hit the mainstream, everybody would be doing it. But it's such a hard sell to try to get people to do it, that it's just one of these things that, you're not going to get, hundreds and thousands of people are doing it, on a deeper level. But people that have been here for 10 or 15 or 25 years, they're struggling with it. But people who start at a later age, it's still a challenge because people are older. Bob, when he started, how old are you now, Bob? 86?
85 going on 86.
Yeah. So he'd been here, 20 years?
What's that?
Have you been here 20 years?
I've been here 20 years.
Yeah. See?
I know.
So I knew you when you were a youngster. Oh, Arthur's been here, 10?
73 going on 72.
Yeah. See? 8 years. 8 years. How about Peter? So she's 4 or 5 years. You've been here longer than 4 or 5 years.
Doesn't seem long.
Yeah.
Every day is a
I guess 6 years, usually before I was.
Uh-huh.
could be.
She started when she was 70 then. Yeah. it's okay. You don't know it because you don't know it.
I haven't discovered it.
Yeah. Me either.